What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And so, I was looking at some news on Tim Anderson and just trying to see how he's doing. How everything is going in Miami with the Marlins, right? And so when I looked up some stuff, this was like from like 12, 13 days ago. Somebody commented, I don't understand why Tim is getting so much hate. Every time he's brought up, people start talking about him getting knocked down in a fight. They calling him Jackie. They're just they acting like he is the most heinous man they've ever ran across. And somebody left a comment and said it's because Tim is a black man with swagger in Major League Baseball, which in this sport is frowned upon from a lot of these white guys who have this country club mindset about themselves. And I promise y'all, Tim Anderson would not be as hated if he was not an unapologetic black man, right? What do I mean by that? Tim Anderson is not a man who puts on airs about himself or tries to hide who he is and how he really talks, right? I often say this. I used to wonder, can a man be unapologetically black in Major League Baseball? Because most of the black guys that I see in baseball are G Willikers, G Wiz type of black men. That doesn't make them any less black. But what do I mean by being unapologetically black? Like, yes, there are black men who talk like G Wiz and G Willikers. But a lot of those men oftentimes grew up around non-black people, white people predominantly, right? It would not be authentic. It would be inauthentic. It wouldn't be authentic for Tim Anderson to be talking like G Wiz and G Willikers because he grew up around other black people, okay? Black folks that grew up around other black people do not talk like G Wiz and G Willikers. Culturally, that is not how our people talk. I know some white folks gonna try to oblige, oh, no, is it? Yes. Black folks who grew up around other black people do not talk like that, right? And that's why, when I see Tim Anderson talking, he ain't cussing folks out and snapping and being ignorant in interviews. He's just talking like a black man that grew up around other black folks would talk. He has the swagger like black folks that grew up around other black folks have. And there are people who didn't like that. They didn't like him, bat flipping after he hits home runs and etc. on those type of things, right? And so they want to call him the most vile, heinous person because he does not fit into their country club mindset. He is not one of the good old boys. He doesn't G Wiz or G Willikers, G golly whiz. I'm just trying to be one of the guys, man. Oh man, he doesn't talk like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with talking like that, but Russell Wilson talks like that because he grew up around white people. He grew up around predominantly white people. And I made that point in my previous video. I believe that Sierra, his wife, gave him more of an introduction to black folks. For real. Yes, his father was his grandfather, Russell Wilson's grandfather, was a president of Kentucky State, I believe, right? Jackson State too, I think, at one point. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But just because your grandfather or your parents were ingrained in black culture does not mean the kid is. Because what is the first thing that black folks, when they get money, what do? They move black kids away from other black folks and move them to affluent areas where they're surrounded by white people and other non-black folks. So they're not growing up around black culture, especially if it's not strongly represented in a household like that. And they're going to school, everything, their mannerisms, they are getting cultivated in non-black spaces. So they don't pick up on certain black social cues, the way we talk, the way we walk. Not saying that black people are monolithic, but in our communities, we have a certain flavor to us that just comes naturally. And Tim exhibits that flavor. And it rubbed a lot of the white higher ups in baseball, it rubbed them the wrong way, especially considering the fact that baseball was not Tim's sport. He did not grow up wanting to be a major leaguer. He played baseball a little bit as a kid. After an injury in baseball, he went back to, an injury in basketball in his high school years. He went to play baseball again. Y'all can correct me if I got that story wrong. And in that time, he found out how to hit very good, and he got good quick. And he got called up went to the minor league system, got called up to the majors. And he had a nice little run of success, And he had great moments as a Chicago White Sox, especially that Field of Dreams game when he hit the walk-off home run shot, right? And so, yeah, man, I think people that Tim being unapologetically himself, being a black man that grew up around other black folks, exhibiting that swagger, and also due to the fact that he didn't grow up with this lifelong dream of being a baseball player like other people do. He's admitted in previous interviews that baseball can be boring to him. He doesn't really watch the sport like that. There's a lot of people that do not like that. And it really ain't even rooted in a lot of the comments he made about not growing up watching baseball, not watching baseball now. It's the swagger that he carries and exhibits. A lot of people want Tim Anderson to talk like Curtis Granderson, probably. You know what I mean? To talk like other guys and to carry themselves like Curtis Granderson. And everybody's not going to carry themselves like that. As long as Tim is not representing the brand in the wrong way. Now, what Tim did in his personal life with his wife is one thing. Because people can point out infidelity all they want to. Chipper Jones cheated on his wife with a Hooters waitress and got the Hooters waitress pregnant, I believe. Allegedly, I may be wrong on that. I gotta fact check that. I believe Chipper Jones might have got the Hooters waitress pregnant. If not, he cheated on his wife with the Hooters waitress, and it came out and all of that, right? And nobody, oh, he's representing the Atlanta Braves organization wrong. I think they magnified a lot of those situations, and a lot of people throw hate his way because he does not act like one of the good old boys. He acts like a black man that grew up around other black folks, and people don't like that. They would rather him act like Curtis Granderson. They would rather him act like Andrew McCutcheon, G Wiz, G Golly Wiz, off one of the guys, oh cheese, oh man, oh gosh be gosh. And that's not who Tim is. And there are a lot of people who feel a way about black men who don't conform to the other norms in their environments. When I mean don't conform, they don't try to adjust how they talk and how they speak and how they carry themselves around other people who don't do that. Tim refused. He refused to conform. He refused to do that. And Tim is a prideful individual, I can tell from certain responses he gives to questions. He's not the type of man that bends the knee at certain things. And there are a lot of people who don't like that. And I often equate this to a lot of black folks. I used to say this. Black people, I can't speak for other ethnicities. Black folks, we are more prone to buck the system in certain ways versus just falling in line. There are a lot of black people who do fall in line, though, for sure. And to a point, I get it. But look at the history of our people. We have a lot of people who were not habitual line steppers, but system buckers who refused to conform to the norms in their environment and just be and fall in line, and they just chose to be themselves. I liken Tim's spirit, and I'm not talking about infidelity or nothing like that. I liken Tim's spirit in the way that he carries himself like the ancestors in a way. He's not going to come in and trying to be something that he's not to seem more palatable or to be more acceptable in these environments where he is a severe minority, an extreme minority, I would say, right? Baseball, I don't know what's the percentage of black players in baseball? I got to be like 4%, something like that right now. Years ago, it was like 8%. I know it's fallen since then. And he refused to try to act like that to make them more, to like him more, to talk, oh gosh. And you know what? I understand that as a black man who works in corporate America, I made it my business to still be professional, to still do what I have to do, to still be exemplary in my work, to still be punctual in everything. But I'm not going to come in here trying to be something that I'm not, or act and talk like something that I don't talk like. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about going in here cussing and acting a fool, because that would not be professional. But I'm not going to go in corporate America, gee whiz, gee golly curse, oh gosh, gosh, posh, oh man, because I don't talk like that. I'm a black man from the south side of Chicago. I grew up around other black folks, and y'all know, especially in Chicago is a segregated city, probably one of the most segregated cities in the country. Black folks live with black folks. And as long as I'm a black man living on the south side growing up on the south side of Chicago, I'm not gonna get in here cheap willikers because I wouldn't talk like that in any setting, even when I'm talking to my grandmother and my grandparents. I don't cuss and act a fool with them or nothing like that. I don't really, I'll be acting a fool on video, but yeah, but I don't get around them gee whiz, gee willikers. I'm gonna talk to in corporate America the same way I would talk to my grandparents and my parents, with respect and upholding myself and with a lot of dignity. But I'm not gonna talk in a way that I don't talk, or try to make these little to try to code switch in a way where you wouldn't even recognize who Malcolm is when I came in a room. That's crazy. I'm not gonna do that. And Tim Anderson refused to conform to that. That's why, you know what, I knew I could be wrong. The wrestler D'Lo Brown, they used to build him from Chicago, Illinois, right? And his in-ring persona is so different from his personal persona, how he, like, the way he talks in his everyday life, that let me know, like, he can't really be from Chicago. Where's D'Lo Brown from? Is he from somewhere, Jersey? He went to school in Maine. Yeah, he talks like somebody that grew up in Maine. Oh gosh, if he's really from Chicago, he would never talk like that, because black folks that grow up around other black people don't talk like that here. Peace.